Half eight, Danny.
Huh?
Go on. You're live.
Right, man. Carry fucking tits. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Mauls, Balls and All, the breakdown. We're live on YouTube, Ruckus Facebook page, and in Irish Rugby Banter. Tonight I am joined by Matt Boland and Len, as some of you might know, Ascaru, two-tone in the group. Matt, I'll come to you first in this one. Munster versus Ulster. Munster win that one 38 points to 20. What are your thoughts on the game?
Yeah, look, it was a great game. Ulster started off well and we're in it pretty much for most of the game, you know. But you got to hand it to Munster. And Peter O'Mahony, like, great way to get him sent off, you know, like that bloody try he scored. It was just absolutely quality. When you ever want a ball to bounce right, it never works, but sometimes it does, and it's just fucking peachy, and it was just fucking perfect for him. But the way he slammed it down and then fucking tossed it into the crowd, it was pretty epic for Peter. So, but like even the standing or the round of applause and the standing ovation he got when he got subbed off was just absolutely unbelievable. But you know, it was great to see it. No more than the chap deserves. An absolute stellar player for Munster over the years and for Ireland as well. Like, so he deserved the send off that he got in Thomond, and rightly so. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah. But yeah, I mean, Ulster weren't great. You know, again, to be honest, they started well, played well in the first half, and then did their usual fucking go to shite in the second half. You know, your man fucking Tyg Burns' block down was
something else.
Was just, and if you look at it back in slow motion, when Murphy was kicking the ball, fucking Byrne was about 5, 6, maybe 7 yards away from him, and he just jumped into the air. So when he kicked it, like, he was still about 5 yards away from him and just blocked it down. And poor Murphy he didn't know which way to look, and he was going, and Byrne just looked, grabbed the ball and scored a try. And I think that was the turning point then for Munster. Then it was just, there was no stopping them then, you know.
Megan in here with evening gents anyway. Johan as well in here saying what's the chances of getting Munster in the playoffs? I would absolutely love it.
At the moment, yeah. They're playing each other.
We've got another one in here as well. This one is just for Len. Don't call him Len, you little bollocks, Brosnan. He's a bishop.
You address me by my proper title.
Another one from Megan in here as well. I think Ulster is allergic to the second half.
I think Megan's right.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we all know that unfortunately, we know Megan has a very keen eye on one particular Ulster player. Yeah, we won't name him.
We don't need to.
Everybody
knows at this stage.
The game could have gone either way. Like at halftime, it was touch and go between both of them.
Yeah,
you know? As a Muslim, I was sitting there going, "Fuck me, think this could go either way."
It was 20 minutes, like 70 minutes or something, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. Like, in fairness, we only really started to apply the pressure maybe after 60 minutes, and even at that, we weren't home and hosed. You know what I mean? But yeah, look, I agree with you. Pete's try, it was like Ryder Rovers fairy tale stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I saw the crossfield kick coming, and I was expecting maybe a Hearn to be coming down that wing, and it's O'Mahony, and then he out jumped Stoke. You know, in the final game, it was something else. Brilliant.
I'm not that old, Megan, all right? I'm not that old.
He fucking is.
But as well as that, I was kind of worried before the game that, like, you had Archer, you had Murray, and you had O'Mahony. Last game in Thomond Park. So there's going to be some sort of emotion involved. And I was worried it might get to him, you know what I mean? It just might seep in, but no, thankfully they went to work and they got the job done.
Yeah. But to be honest with you, even Archer was close to getting the try as well in the first half.
He was,
I say,
yeah.
yeah, he was just
He was
short
very
because
wooden, actually. He was very
yeah,
wooden.
he was because I'd say he was literally just maybe about an inch short. I'd say the whitewash.
I'd say he could smell the white paint.
He probably could. All right. Anyway, it's a different white substance than a well-known MMA star, I suppose. But we won't get into that. Yeah, we won't get into that. But one thing I want to ask you first on this one. Then is what do you think? Do you think this is a bit of a turning point at the end of the season for Munster? To get that last push into Europe.
I don't know, Danny, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I mean, we've lost more games when we've won. You know what I mean? It's every time you had the La Rochelle game and it was going, fuck, this is it. They were clicking. We're back. Okay, right, granted. It was a short turnaround before we had Bordeaux, but we've been so inconsistent. I mean, in fairness, Connacht, Ulster, and Munster. And I mean, it's other seasons. It's the inconsistency is the fucking worst part of it. You know what I mean? And for the supporters of all three clubs, you're looking there to go out, they have a great game, probably against tougher opposition. They have weaker opposition the following week, and it all goes fucking tits up. But so I don't know. Look, I'd like to think so because the shit is on the line now against Benetton.
Who we have at home?
Yeah, well, we have look, it's in Musgrave and the whole lot, so that's an advantage there. But we should have been home and hosed, and then the other the other results went fucking arseways on us. Like, I mean, I thought Connacht would put Edinburgh away. I really did. It was in the Dexcom. It's given Edinburgh a chance. And then Cardiff are level on points with us. So we have to win against Benetton. And no offence to, as much as I love seeing Leinster, absolutely, as a Munster supporter, beating other teams, I flicked over to the Glasgow Benetton game. And fuck me, pink. Glasgow were shite. They were absolutely atrocious. And Benetton were fairly decent. So I tell you, there are no pushovers at this stage. So I wouldn't be. Look, we should get the job done, but
yeah. Hopefully, anyway. I suppose we move on anyway. What do we have next? Jesus, Len. What are your thoughts on the Leinster Parma match? Leinster will get 76 points to 5.
Yeah, look, I think we know how tricky Zebra can be as a team, and thankfully they played Jordy Barrett. That could have been close otherwise. What do you think? I watched the first half, and it was only going one way and one way only. And as I say, half time I said, right, this is just an absolute hockey and it's cricket score. And then I flicked over to the Glasgow Benetton game because the results obviously was going to affect us. So, but yeah, look, what can you say? Look, Zebra is they're not really any competition. Look, what I saw the first half, it was just very, very slick. I know, Matt, you were worried last week. You actually said had it been anybody but Zebra, you'd actually be worried about Leinster on the back of the Northampton loss. Do you remember that last week?
We did.
Yeah, you did actually say that. You're like, you were worried that any kind of decent opposition, the fallout from the Northampton game. But no, look, they were just slick as usual. It was the Jordy Barrett show. Look, I feel for Leinster supporters that watched that on Saturday and went, what the fuck was he doing sitting on the bench against Northampton? And I can't figure it out. Like, the only thing is, Cullen has come out and said that he wasn't restricted from playing him. So was it a case that was an optics thing, that they didn't want two Irish internationals, one of the Irish centres benched to play Barrett? I don't know.
Nobody knows. Nobody will know.
No.
It's a bit of a mystery. It's a bit of a mystery one, all right, but I think whoever decisions were made anyway. So
yeah,
I suppose we just have to trust in whoever Cullen was doing, I suppose, that weekend against Northampton.
Yeah, but I don't think I'm sure Matt, as a Leicester supporter, didn't make it any easier to watch than going out and just absolutely fucking playing out of their skins on Saturday, and thinking of what could have been. It's tough for any Leicester supporter.
Listen, like, that's the thing. Like you knew last week, like after the defeat in Northampton, you were saying, well, like it's easy point to blame and say like, oh, why didn't he fucking pick Barrett and why didn't he do this? Why didn't he do that? But he's obviously got his reasons to pick the team that he picked, But then you see Jordy Barrett starting this weekend, and you go, okay, grand, right? Well, what's going to happen? Like, and like in fairness to Zebra, they've come on leaps and bounds this season and have had some good results and won a couple of games away from home as well. But
hold up, they bet us in the second round. So.
Exactly. So to see that, just you're like, it's more frustrating because I had said, like, as you said, Len, like last week, if it was a strong team, I'd be worried for Leinster because the mentality of the loss from the previous week. I was kind of saying, well, look, the fact that it's Zebra, they need to go out and fucking absolutely slaughter them, which they did. But that wasn't good viewing either. Do you know what I mean? So because then you're looking at it going, fuck, everything's going right for them today. They're getting everything right. Why couldn't they do it last week? And but you just have to put it to bed. You can't be looking back on the past and going, what if? There's no point. You just have to look onwards, and that's what the lads do. And you can see how professional these lads are when they do lose a game. They just put it behind them. They get on with the job at hand, and they go out to the next game and just fucking play the way they're supposed to play. Like,
yeah, that's exactly what I said. It was just very slick, very professional.
It's just very frustrating to watch.
Yeah. Look, well, even take that out of it. These kind of 60, 70, 50, 60 scores to nil, just from a pure neutral rugby point of view, it's not really great viewing. So it's not.
Not at all.
No, you know what I mean? Now, look, they're not going to go, lads, we'll let him back into it and give him 15 points. You know what I mean? That's not going to happen. But look,
I prefer the games where Leinster are fucking, like it's even Stevens up to half time, maybe into 50, 60 minutes, and then Leinster just take away to go away and win by 20 or 30 points or whatever. Like, but like seeing them fucking nil teams and poor fucking Zebra, like I was delighted that they got to try at least because fucking 76 points, like that was like point a minute nearly. You know what I mean?
No stuff, yeah. It was a bit much, right? And Mike Sheedy in there as well. Friday night, great game, looking like what Munster did 2 years ago. Jesus, no, I don't think so. Not this season anyway, I'd say. Peter in there in the background saying it was great viewing, lads. He's also saying just like a training session for Leinster, which it basically was.
It was like a training session because like everything they did turned to gold in that game. Like they couldn't put a foot wrong, and like you could even see in the 80th minute that they wanted to get that into 70. They were 69 and they were still playing, and the clock was in the red. They could have easily just kicked it out and said, look, that's enough. But they wanted to get into 70 points. Clearly, they had a goal that they wanted to reach, and they saw it through because, at that point, like it means nothing, for anyone. But that just shows their mentality. Like, this is what we want. We're going for this. We're getting it regardless. And fucking 81, 82 minutes they play till,
Yeah.
I have to say, was impressed me this season for Leinster is Osborne.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Yeah, he's really come on and leaps and bounds. He's a very, very solid player. You know what I mean? You'd have him in any team, in all fairness. I like watching him play, I have to say.
No, he's doing a job. Fair fucking play.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
But you could just see even Jordy Barrett. Like I think he scored 2 tries. Osborne got 2. They were just
Fry got one as well. Yeah.
Say again, Danny.
Fry got one as well this year too.
Yeah, he got one. He definitely got one anyway when he came on. But yeah, look, I mean, job done. We go on to the next round.
Yeah.
You're home and hose now at this stage, so
yeah. Well, I don't think anyone's catching us.
You can't actually not.
No,
I think there's 9 points or something in the difference.
9 points on top, yeah.
Yeah, so you can't be caught. You know what I mean? So that's it. Mission accomplished, really.
I think for any fan now, Leinster fan especially, they're saying we need to win the URC now, and it just has to be done now.
You don't really know. No, you're okay.
No, I think they do need to win this.
No.
They do absolutely 100%. You're only saying that because you're a fucking Munster fan.
Yeah, fucking right.
Yeah.
You don't need to win anything.
But sure, I'm speaking on behalf of the Leinster fans. They do need to win because I think it could be very detrimental for Leo Cullen for the future if something isn't gotten out of this season.
Yeah, especially with 2 years left on his contract as well.
Yeah,
Exactly.
so they're not going to get rid of him.
No,
You'd be surprised.
But I think he will lose a lot of support. Yeah, but like in all fairness, I've seen on the group and stuff. I don't think there's some Leinster fans are just. I don't think they're going to be happy with just a URC, but like I'm sure a URC would make it a little bit easier to.
Oh, listen, I mean, there's fans out there that are not happy that like they lost, but again, like you've got to take your wins and you got to take your losses. Do you know, like as tough as it is, you know, we're like sport is sport. You can turn up on a day and not play well and lose. It's that simple, and. It comes down to fitness, it comes down to mentality, it comes down to bodies, it comes down to injuries, you know, and all that has an effect. And it takes one game to define a season. And unfortunately for Leinster, that was the Northampton game. They just weren't firing. They lost the game. And you can't take it away from Northampton. They just fucking played us off.
No, they were brilliant. Yeah, they were.
You know, so, but that's it. Like, and the lads showed this week. You know, they obviously went into training Monday morning, right, lads? Let's fucking forget about this. I heard a rumor there was a Caelan Doris or something sent a text to the group and said everybody round to mine after the game, after Northampton the Northampton game. He said everybody round to my house for drinks. We're gonna fucking process this and we're gonna move on. Yeah. And if that's true, then that just shows you the type of captain he is because. He needs to set the team up then because there is still the URC to play for, and that's the mentality now that they need to get into their heads. Like, and
question for you, Matt.
It's brilliant.
Yeah, well, look, you're right. You're also right. Like, I mean, sometimes fans have unrealistic expectations. You know what I mean? There's no team deserves to win fucking anything.
Full stop. Not in rugby.
You know, no matter how. You know, it's just there's no such thing as a given. As much as we'd all like it.
The problem now, Lane, is you've got this new age of fans that they've just come in the last fucking 10 years, say, and they weren't around when Ireland were shite.
Ireland couldn't buy a win. Maybe.
They weren't around when Leinster used to get fucking slaughtered by any time they played Munster. Do you know what I mean? They just don't know. And the expectation of these new fans is that we win all the time. You know, and it's not realistic.
Look, you see people that. Like in the hurling, Waterford win a couple of games, and Jesus Christ, they're going around with flags on the fucking cars and all that, and they'd never attended a match, or you know what I mean?
Yes.
It's the same. Like I know it's been on the group a lot of times about the Aviva and you know the Instagram fucking followers, just there for the day out and what have you, zero interest in the rugby. You know what I mean? They'll get that in absolutely every sport.
Oh, absolutely.
But like there is. And sometimes they're the most vocal as well.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah.
It's a good point there by Peter as well. He said, there's fans out there who don't understand the game, but they can use a keyboard. Go figure.
Oh, yeah, here, listen. There's loads of them that can use a fucking keyboard.
Yeah.
I can use a keyboard.
Yeah, but you're sensible. Sometimes. I won't say all the time. Sometimes.
Not a lot of people that agree with you now, Matt, but fair enough.
Yeah. Matt, one question I did want to ask you there as well was, do you think winning the URC this year for Leinster could be a bridge or a way for them to kind of motivate them to win the fifth European trophy?
Yeah, look, I know what you're getting at. Like, you know, if it's tough the way the last few Champions Cups have gone for Leinster. If you look going back to the two La Rochelle games, then to Toulouse last year, and then Northampton this year. So, and a semi-final prior to the two finals as well. Like that's very, very hard to do anyway. Like, the competition, the Champions Cup competition is the best in Europe, no doubt about it, and it's probably one of the best competitions in the world. And it's very, very tough to get to a final. So the fact that Leinster have been knocking on the door for the last 5-6 years is no mean feat. But I think for Leinster fans and for the team itself, it would be a great achievement for them to get this URC, because they haven't done that in a while either, and it might just soften the blow of the loss to Northampton and the Champions Cup again for the fucking 5th year in a row. And it might just give them something next year to go, right, let's learn from the past, let's do things that we haven't done and get ourselves in a position again to be in that final again and to go that step further, because I think they got used to winning and they weren't really used to losing. And I think, again, these few games now that have gotten away from them might be the resolve that they need for the next season to go out and finally get that 5th star, because this 5th star now is like fucking the thing that was impossible, or I can't think of the word I'm trying to think, but like it's the cherry on the cake that they've been trying to get for a long time, and they haven't been able to get it, And if they get the URC this year, it would be a massive stepping stone in the right direction.
Yeah, because
I think as well, though, the fact that Leinster are like in the URC so far miles ahead of everybody else, they're not getting a hell of a lot of competitive games, and even in the quarterfinals, like again, ridiculous fucking score lines. You know what I mean? I know they can't do anything about the opposition they come up against.
Yeah.
And it was much about how slick Leinster were as it was about the opposition. But then it is hard to build for a fucking tough game, which Northampton fucking provided. So I think there's a little bit of, I came across something somewhere, I flicked through Twitter or something, some sports psychologist. You probably might have heard this. He reckons
that's the word I was looking for. Elusive. Thank you, Sonia Pro. The elusive 5th
he
star.
reckons it's a mental block. I don't think it's a mental block as much as sort of a monkey on the back. Like it's like anything that you've tried and you've missed, and you maybe do it a second time. You're putting yourself probably under a hell of a lot of pressure the 3rd time around. You know what I mean? And the 4th time, whatever it is. So there's probably a bit of above, because it's not lack of talent. You know what I mean? And it's not lack of structure, skills, coaching, game plans. But look, again, you have to hand it to Northampton in that. But yeah, I can see how the URC, for the talent is there. It's hard to see anybody stopping them.
Yeah. Good question, Fred. Good question there, Fred. Now then, are you including Munster as poor opposition in the URC for Leinster?
Absolutely not. I was just talking about the other, 14 teams. Yeah, it hasn't been going our way with a while either. Yeah, see what I mean?
Yeah.
But we do, in fairness, we mightn't haven't won a few in a while, but we do give them a game. We do our best on that.
Well, look at it this way, right? It's quite a possibility that Leinster will be playing Munster in the next round in the knockout stages of the URC, right? Neither of them teams are going to want to play each other at that point. 100%.
No.
Like Munster won't want to play Leinster, and Leinster definitely won't want to play Munster, because that's
exactly
it's going to be a key game. Do you know what I mean? So. Yeah. I would suggest, I would imagine Munster are looking for that 7th position then to go and play fucking.
I'll take 8 at the moment now. I'll be happy with 8.
Well, look, I mean, you weren't 8
like 7
before last weekend. You know what I mean?
I just want to make it true, to be quite honest.
Yeah, look, and that's the goal of all the teams now at this moment in time. Like, and if you look down like 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, they're all in the running to get it.
Yeah.
It'll just depend on other results. They have to win their respective games themselves, but then it's just.
No, I don't. I think it's only. I don't think. Actually, I had it there somewhere. I don't think past 9 can actually achieve it, can they?
10th.
Past 10th. That's 10 for 9th, and whatchamacallers. Edinburgh are 10th, but I don't think who's behind them. I don't think 11 can actually achieve it, to be honest with you.
No, they're 38, so they need 6 points. So it's just out of reach. Yeah.
Yeah. So that'll be that how reaching.
So it's literally Edinburgh and Cardiff can play themselves into that.
Yeah.
Playoff.
Yeah. So
we'll talk more about that later on. Yeah, we'll talk about more about that later on anyway, lads. I want to come to the last game of the weekend. Matt, will come to you on this one. Connacht 21, Edinburgh 31. What are your thoughts on that one?
Well, I predicted, right, and I said last week, I said I hate going against an Irish opposition, but I had a feeling Edinburgh were going to win that game, and they fucking did. And I it's not that I fucking don't like Connacht. It's not that I would back them or go against them all the time. I just had a sneaky suspicion, and I said it as well last week. I hope I'm wrong, but I think Edinburgh are going to win, and they did. Now, it was touch and go for pretty much that whole game. I think Edinburgh only won it in the last fucking few minutes, but it was a cracking game of rugby.
Yeah.
I think that was
it was tied around the 60-minute mark, was it?
I think it was.
Something like that.
It was similar to you guys as well. It was 21-all coming into that final quarter, and that fucking breakaway try, that Shield.
Oh, Shields was unreal, wasn't it? Yeah.
That was it. As soon as he got that try, I think he was in his own half.
He was nearly in his own 22. He wasn't fucking far. He was close enough to the 22, I think. It's easy, he played sevens. He was just bang. He was gone.
He was just gone. He cut through them like a fucking hot knife through butter, and that was it. That was it.
Yeah, then Healy got the penalty, which that just put it out of sight. Then was
exactly. But it was other than that. Now it was a good game of rugby. It could have gone either way, and I think discipline was a bit of an issue there for Edinburgh at one point. I think did they get a yellow card at some point? I can't remember.
I think so. Yeah.
I need to start fucking taking notes on some of these fucking games.
Yeah, you and me both.
Fuck's sake, man! You're at the end of this season now, and now it's time to start taking fucking notes.
No, I tell you, no, it's gonna be next season's fucking goal now is to be taking notes on the games, because like that, I'll watch a game and then I'll watch the next game and I'll forget what happened in the first game.
You need to miss the standing behind the camera with flashcards. Edinburgh 22.
Yeah, I can tell you what you do with them flashcards.
Yeah.
You're me fucking both.
Yeah. Be fucking straight at me.
Peter in there with the comment saying that the Connacht, like Ulster, are a 40-minute team this season.
He has a point. He has a point, because they've been winning games at halftime and then lost them in the second half, a bit like Ulster.
Oh, vice versa, yeah.
Or vice versa. So it's that 80-minute performance that both of them teams are lacking at this moment in time, and they're both good sides. There's no doubt about it. If you look at the Lions picks at this weekend, like Connacht were there and they're in there with representing two teams in the Lions or two players in the Lions as well. I think Ulster were kind of unlucky. I'd say there was loads of players that were in that list. That still might get a call up at some point, because everybody knows what happens.
Yeah, Stockdale seems to be finding form again, lads. Especially this season. Yeah.
He's been very good this season for.
Yeah. Actually, just on the Connacht game, I know James Grennan has mentioned it before. Fucking heck, he was very passive in that game.
Yeah.
He plays for Ireland. It just never seems to be the same intensity for.
It's so funny that you brought that up, because James has brought that up so many times. Yeah. But again, it was visible last weekend.
Very visible. Yep.
I just
so far as to say the guy looked fucking almost disinterested.
Yeah.
Maybe not, but it's just fucking your team is, you draw a level. The game is winnable. You know what I mean? You have something to play for, and he didn't put it out. That was fucking Ireland. He'd be fucking tearing up.
Yeah, but you gotta think. Is it the coaches? Is it is it Andy Farrell, and is it fucking the coaches there in the Ireland setup that are fucking getting Aki fired up and blah blah blah? And is it lack of that in Connacht then through their coaches? It has to be something. Yeah. It could be both.
Yeah.
Could be a bit
Yeah,
of
but
both.
Maybe he's one of these players that just likes the big occasion.
maybe.
That was a big occasion.
Yeah. It wasn't
Maybe
its
it's
own
not.
racial
Maybe it
concept.
wasn't big enough. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. But like, I mean, like, I just saw that. Like, they have, as Peter said, a 40-minute team, but like, actually, a fucking who gets a lot of stick is Cordero, but I thought like he played till the fucking end. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He made it. He was trying to make breaks there, and like lads weren't feed up. Who was actually impressive was Finn Tracy. You know, he got
He was brilliant.
yeah, he
Oh,
was
yeah.
very, very good. He got the 2 tries as well.
Yeah.
That one out the back of the scrum, the Murphy fed him out. It was smashing try. But look, and actually, just on that as well, as I see on the group, Wilkins is going to Benetton. That's kind of
Yeah,
torn up for the
saw
books,
that.
isn't it?
Yeah.
It's funny though, isn't
It is.
Very odd. Yeah.
Yeah, but
it? I wonder what's
then
actually
again,
going on.
maybe he just wasn't happy at Connacht. I suppose maybe that's why he decided to opt out earlier or something.
Yeah.
But then again, I suppose Joe. It's one thing being an assistant coach, and another completely different thing being a head coach. You're responsible for absolutely anything and everything that goes on there as well.
Yeah. It's a bit like
Yeah.
us. We can just turn up and talk bollocks, and Peter Burke has to run the show. You know what I mean?
That's it. Behind the scenes.
Yeah. Joe, maybe Connacht would be better off just having Peter Burke there giving an old motivational speech every now and again. At half
Oh,
time, your team talk.
Hey lads, before
No,
it's my first show, you know.
Yeah.
I've been watching Peter just get a few podcast tips, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
I brought a couple of props. Maybe I'll wear them next week. You need a provincial hat and earphones. Danny Russell, how the hell are you?
he's fucking making a name for himself already, Peter.
Joe, you could be the monster Peter Burke, I suppose, if you ever need it in the Thursday night.
I have the
there.
hat and the earphones,
God
lads. No
fucking
bother.
help us all.
Thursday, yeah. Lads, we'll move on to next weekend's games anyway, and I'll get your opinions on them as well. First up, we have Edinburgh at home to Ulster. Edinburgh, 10th place, still in contention. Matt, how do you think that will go?
So, like, with Edinburgh beating fucking Connacht and getting themselves within touching distance now, they're actually ahead of Ulster in the table. So I reckon Ulster are gonna go for that.
Ulster
Edinburgh. Sorry, Edinburgh are gonna go for that for Ulster to beat them, and because they're at home, I'd say they might just do it because they've got everything to play for. You know, it's all for Edinburgh to win and lose here because it doesn't really matter for Ulster. I think I don't think they can. They can't get to the playoff now at this point.
Yeah.
But they could also deny Edinburgh, which might be fucking enough for them to get a win. But given the way Ulster have played all season, I'd say they'll do well in the first half and then lose it in the second half. So
vice versa.
I would imagine Edinburgh are gonna overturn that and get themselves into a playoff spot.
Yeah, actually, funny enough, I'd say 7th to 10th spot should be wrapped up for Friday night because Cardiff are playing as well Friday evening at 6:00. But the other one on at the exact same time is 8th place Munster hosting 7th place to Benetton at Musgrave.
You know,
That's
going to be a problem.
Sorry, Len, I'll come to you. I forgot to ask you, Edinburgh versus Ulster, how do you think that will go?
Same thing, Edinburgh at home advantage, and they have everything to play for. I reckon Edinburgh will squeeze it, chap.
Yeah. Then I'll come to you on this one. Munster, Benetton, how do you think that will go? Munster's last home game.
Munster by about 40 points. I fucking don't know. Honestly, don't know, Danny. We have enough, and if we play like we did against Ulster with it, and then with a little bit more news, we should edge it, and hopefully we will, because it'll be a fucking scandal if there's only one team playing in fucking Heineken Cup, Irish team playing the Heineken Cup next year.
Yeah.
And that's so hopefully we do it. I don't fancy Challenge Cup next year. I really don't. Look, in saying that, if all came to all with Macmillan coming in, it might be a chance to rebuild, but personally, I'd prefer to be playing Champions Cup
Yeah.
rather than Challenge Cup. So look, I'll go. I'm going to go with Munster, but I think it could be a tight enough game.
Yeah. Mike Sheehy coming in there as well, saying that Munster have a few more players back. And he's going with Munster as well.
Yeah,
Gregor.
Doggo and a few others are back. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
But I don't
Gregor,
think
come
we're
on
going to
now.
see game time straight back off of after
Yeah.
rehab.
But like at least you have those options there if needed, I suppose. Anyway,
Yeah.
Gregor, come on now. Come on. Seeing the Treviso win against Munster. Come on now there. Matt, how do you think that Munster Benton game will go?
That's going to be an absolute belter of a game, I'm telling you. That's going to be absolutely quality. And if you look, actually, Benetton have more wins than Munster, even though they're on the same point. I think for, as Len has said, for the Irish teams and provinces, I think Munster need to win that game to be in the Champions Cup next year, but also to be in the playoffs. But I'd be very, very wary of Benetton, you know. And where's it being played? In
Musgrave Park.
Musgrave Park. So, I'd got to go. I have to go with Munster to get the win there because it's going to be better for it'll be better for the Irish provinces for next season. Do you know what I mean? And let's face it, Munster want to get into that top 8 anyway. You know.
Yeah. Peter Cummins in there. So lads, the financial difference between the Challenge Cup and Heineken Cup is significant. So Munster need to win.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Besides, I'd say you won't want to be dropping down to the Challenge Cup anytime soon if they can anyway.
No, Jesus. No.
Sorry, Danny. Just the way Treviso play. Yeah, they're actually playing very good at the moment. They're right. Credit where credit is due with them anyway. Next up, we have, lads, on Saturday, a game of no importance in terms of table standing, I think. Zebre Parma hosting Connacht. Zebre in 15th, Connacht in 14th. Matt, how do you think that one will go?
Do you know that could be a fucking great game as well? Like, being honest with you, like, you know, the fact that it's in Italy. I'm not going to go against Connacht two weeks in a row. I'm going to go for Connacht to squeeze a victory.
Yeah, but Zebre will probably want to bounce back after that Leinster loss as well, though, won't they?
Yeah,
the whole fucking 5 points.
Absolutely, you know. And look, you know, Zebra have 5 wins, just like fucking Connacht do, and you know, if you look at the two of them, they're quite evens in everything.
Department, yeah.
It'll be a great game of rugby, I can tell you, and I'm gonna go Connacht to get a little sneaky win.
Len, how do you think that Zebre Connacht game will go?
I'll be the opposite. I think Connacht will win it by a decent margin.
You think so?
Yeah, I think I do. Yeah. Even though it's away, I think Connacht will win it by a decent margin.
Ooh. Gregor asked me a good question. Can Zebre beat a third province? Not this. They could. It's not out of the question because, like,
definitely not out of the question.
Yeah, it's one of those things that one.
You got to remember, like, they're going to want to bounce back from that defeat to Leinster, like, you know, like 71-point defeat, and they're going to want to come out at the blocks firing and fucking go, well, that wasn't representative of what we are, and they're going to try and win. But I'm going to go.
Or on the other hand, it might take the win completely out of their sails.
Oh, look, absolutely, it could, you know, and you know, I'm still going Connacht for a little sneaky win. Come on.
By a margin.
Matt, I'll come to you on this one. Last game of the weekend. Leinster, top of the table, is now against third place Glasgow Warriors. Leinster at home. How do you think that one?
It'll be a very good game, you know, and I know Leinster beat fucking Glasgow 56-0 in the fucking quarterfinals of the Champions Cup, but this is very different, you know, and it's not going to be near the same fucking score, I wouldn't imagine. I would still go with Leinster to win it, but I would imagine it'll be a lot closer than that last game, and I think Glasgow will actually fucking score this time.
Len, how do you think that Leinster-Glasgow game will go?
Well, I don't know if any of you watched the Benetton Glasgow game. Glasgow were utter shite. They were
I didn't watch it, to be honest.
They were atrocious. I say Franco Smith was fucking pulling his hair out. It was fucking dire. They were dirt. And that's been quite honest with you. Benetton played very, very well. But I mean, considering the quality of players that Glasgow had, they just had no answer for Benetton. So I reckon it's going to be another cricket score. And like, I know where Glasgow are sitting on the table, but what have they had? Have they 4 or 5 losses in a row now?
I'm not too sure. They're third place anyway at the table.
Yeah, but I think they've had 4 or 5. I'm not 100% sure, but they were. They were atrocious.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like, in fairness, they're the kind of team that will they'll obviously get through.
Yeah.
They seem to pull it out of the bag if it comes to quarterfinals, semi-finals, or whatever. They tend to pull it out of the bag for that. They seem to get their act together, but they just look fucking disinterested. They look shit now against Benetton. So yeah, I don't know. I reckon. Well, I don't reckon it'll be Leinster all the way, and I reckon it'll be by a decent margin.
Yeah, actually, we're going to have to get Mike Reedy to give up the old quiz night on Monday night and get him on here with the 3 lads to see how many fucks he can get out of you.
I did warn you.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You did, but at least you're keeping the standard of the show going. Plenty of swearing.
In the back of my mind, I'm going, Len, tone it down. Len, tone it down.
Don't turn it up, not down, up.
No, yeah. Look, sorry.
Look, to be honest with you, we come out here and we just fucking say it straight. Simple as that in the story anyway.
Danny, stop swearing.
Fuck off. Even here, again, no, don't tone it down. You've got, for fuck's sake, at the end.
Chance. Don't worry, Peter. There's no full chance we're going to tone it down.
So, Jesus, Matt, was it when we were reviewing the Northampton game last weekend? How many times were you saying fuck in a sentence?
I think I got about 3 or 4 fucks in one sentence.
I think so. At least. But, lads, I'm going to ask you now, just as the way the table stands. It's usually highest versus lowest, isn't it?
Yeah.
So as it stands now, lads, we have Leinster versus Munster in the court. We'd have Benetton against, who are they now? The Bulls. Yeah, the Bulls would be at home. Third place, we'd have Glasgow versus, who got 6th?
Scarlets.
Yeah.
Didn't expect it to be up that high. And then we'd have Sharks versus the Stormers. Jesus, we have 3 South African teams in there. Fuck's sake, lads, I didn't realise that.
Don't tell Mike Reedy.
Oh, Jesus. Mercenaries! Fucking mercenaries! That's what.
Yeah.
No, but like, to be honest with you, we have what, 3 former winners of this current incarnation of the league in there.
Yeah.
Jesus, lads.
In fairness, though, personally, I think the South African teams have been good for the URC.
Yeah.
Oh, of course they have.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was just too fucking close knit and what have you beforehand, and you know the added factor of having to travel down to South Africa. It's a pain in the fucking hole, but it means that results can get skewed. Maybe you're going down for 2 games and you might win the first one and the second one you should win, but because you're away from home and fucking or playing at altitude or whatever, so it has made the league more competitive. You know what I mean?
Without a doubt, it's made it more competitive. And you going by the standings there, you've the Bulls in 2nd, the Sharks in 4th, and the Stormers in 5th. So 3 out of the 4 teams that are in the URC from South Africa are in the top 5. So
yeah. And also the last couple of years,
and Mike Reedy's probably having a fucking seizure. Oh, fuck you.
and like in the last couple of seasons, they've been competitive when they've come up this end. Whereas at the start, it was just ridiculous. It was a waste of fucking time. Like, you know what I mean? You wouldn't take a ticket to go in and see somebody playing any of the South African teams for nothing. But they're coming up here now with a plan for a couple of wins. You know what I mean? Or try their best anyway.
That's it.
Yeah, because maybe just sending the weaker teams first, just to test things out. Just get laid as
Actually,
they speak.
that was another turn up as well. With Scarlets beating the Lions. Now I know the Lions haven't been great, but they had to travel down. And again, I was thinking, look, the Lions will beat Scarlets, and they'll be out of the reckoning for pushing for 8th place. No, the fuckers go and win it and get a bonus point.
That's it.
Yeah. Actually, can one of you check the standings there of the tables at the moment? I've just got a question for you.
I have it right in front of me.
Yeah. What's the points difference? Well, how many points are Scarlets on, and how many points are the Stormers on?
Stormers are on 50. Scarlets are on 48.
So they can swap places.
They could, if bearing results.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, Cardiff are playing the Stormers down South Africa, so you'd be reckoning the Stormers are going to take that.
Yeah, definitely.
And whereas the Bulls are playing the Dragons, that's another Bulls. That's down South Africa as well. That's another Bulls win.
I don't see Dragons putting out that one out of the bag on this. There is an absolute miracle or something like that.
No. Not a hope.
Especially at Loftus as well.
Yeah.
Question now for you, lads, well, since you have the tables up, is let's see, what are the different points difference between 10th and 8th? I know Munster and 8th.
Munster 46, Edinburgh 44.
Yeah.
Edinburgh 44. Munster what, 41?
Benetton, Munster and Cardiff are all on 46.
Yeah.
And Edinburgh on 44.
Edinburgh 44.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus. So
there's absolutely nothing in it. That's why Munster have got to beat Benetton. There's and not be waiting for fucking results to go their way.
Yeah. But you see at the way it stands anyway, 9th, 7th, 8th, 9th and 10th, they're all playing Friday. Yeah. So by the time the last match is up, they'll know where they stand then, because it's going to be very, very close. So the only thing is Cardiff should be out of the reckoning before half time in the 2 late games, because since their game is on at 6 o'clock on a Friday. So to be honest with you, once that's over, they should know where Cardiff finish.
Well, that's on the 6th, is it?
6 o'clock, yeah. That there because they're fifth in the Stormers.
Yeah.
But you know something, like if Benetton beat Munster and Edinburgh beat
Ulster,
fucking Edinburgh are gonna go into the top 8 and Munster will drop out.
Yeah. And you'll see, unfortunately, we'll be in the Challenge Cup now next season. You have 3 teams inside there as well. But one thing I want to ask you then is, apart from the financial side, do you think it might be a good thing for Macmillan and Munster in general to go into a Challenge Cup for one season?
I said that earlier. No, I don't think it'd be a good thing.
Yeah.
But
it's definitely not going to be a good thing.
If it happens, it might not be the worst thing, because I think it'll give Macmillan a chance. You see, there's too much expectation, just as there is with Leinster. Like 2006, 2008, it just became this sort of mythology around Munster and the Heineken Cup.
Yeah.
And we might make it the finals and what have you, but we pull these results out of the bag here, there, and fucking everywhere.
Yeah.
And it just adds to it, even if we don't make the fucking semi-final or whatever it is, or the final. But he's coming into, and if we're running in the Heineken Cup, he's going to feed into that. And you're fighting on 2 fronts. Now, hopefully that's exactly what will happen. I really hope that's what will happen.
Yeah.
But if it didn't happen, and we're playing Challenge Cup next year, as I say, I hope not, it would give him a chance to step back and build a team. So it wouldn't be fucking the end of the world, but I do hope we're in contention and we make the top 8.
Yeah.
To be honest with you.
Yeah. So do I. But
it'd be an absolute fucking disaster if Munster didn't make that top 8. It really would.
Yeah.
You know, provincially and even for Irish it'd be an absolute fucking disaster, and we definitely don't want that to happen.
No,
Yeah.
no, we don't.
But,
no.
Yeah, but I think it might take the pressure off maybe the team a bit, and Macmillan coming in and stuff.
Yeah, look, I totally see your point. If the worst comes to the worst and Benetton beat Munster and Munster go into the Challenge Cup next year with the incoming Clayton Macmillan, it'd be a better competition for him to build up his squad and build up the team and go for the Challenge Cup and get themselves back into the Champions Cup the following season. But I really don't want that. Wouldn't it be better, like financially? It's way better for them to stay in the Champions Cup. It's better for them as a team. It's better for the provinces. It's better for Ireland if they stay, you know. And Clayton Macmillan, he is a top coach. He's got serious pedigree. It's not going to phase him whether he's in the Champions Cup or the Challenge Cup or not. Like, his goal will still be the same. Do you know what I mean? But
yeah,
geez, I really want fucking Munster to win that game. You know, I really do. And I'm not just saying that because, I'm saying that because I mean it. Like I'll always back Ireland teams. Doesn't matter whether it's any of the provinces. When it's good for Ireland, it's good for Ireland. And if Munster win, it's going to be good for Ireland.
Mike Sheen here says, should remember Munster team beat all South Africans teams away and at home, only Irish team in history of the URC to do so.
It's a very good point.
Yeah. And Peter coming in there says he's totally agreeing with Matt as well. But lads, I suppose it's both sides, and same side, I suppose it's like to have both perspective of how we'd manage maybe in both sides' perspective as to what might suit Munster both best as well. Anyway, I suppose that's. I suppose we're out of stuff to talk about at the moment. I suppose that's. I say, if you have stuff you want to bring up,
To hurling.
Jesus, no.
you're fucking why not?
Fuck off.
Fucking why not?
Fuck off. Oh Jesus, I've gone black.
Work is behind the scenes. Press delete.
Yeah, fucking take away the moderator status from Len. Fucking stat.
Mention fucking hurling on this.
Oh, come on, Jerry, you have to wind Peter up some bit, I suppose, anyway.
Just a little bit. Look, just on Macmillan coming in, I'd agree with you, Danny. Look, and Matt, he has serious pedigree, and I think he's going to be a good fit for Munster. I really do. Yeah. I think he has that kind of mentality. It'll drag him into shape. The only thing, look, no offense to the lads that are there, but I just think giving fucking contracts out to lads and the coaching staff before a new coach comes in, a head coach comes in.
Yeah,
it's not good because, you know what I mean, a guy coming in with one hand tied behind his back. You know, give him the option. That, you know, do you want to hang on to these guys? And he may very well want to, but when he has no choice in the matter. But look, who knows? Maybe behind the scenes they've spoken to him and said, look, well, you know, these guys are staying, and do you agree with that? Whatever. But like, again, going back to next season, the Macmillan and the Challenge Cup and the whole lot. You know, it's been brought up before. We don't have a fucking proper line-out coach. We have Alex Coughlin. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so
his day job is with the women's team. He's a consultant to Munster. Like, how the fuck are you supposed to compete in Europe with a consultant fucking coach?
Yeah.
It's a joke. Absolute joke. Yeah. Strength and conditioning. Like, the RFU sent down one of the, can't remember his name now off the top of my head, one of the Leinster lads. They help out to fill the gap for strength and conditioning. You know, so he has his work cut out for him. Look,
so
fingers crossed. We do the business on Friday night, and we stay in it. But there we go. That's my top sword.
Peter's making a good point there about fucking Mac Hansen and Darcy Graham not being picked. He was saying, like, Mac Hansen picked for the Lions, surprising because he's injured. But fucking Blair Kinghorn was fucking picked as well, and he's injured too.
Yeah.
What's the fucking crack there? Like, there's two of them.
And Mac hasn't been on form. Like, he has
No.
not been on. You know what I mean?
To be
I
honest,
think, was it you said, Matt, is the tattoo?
Yeah, the Andy Farrell tattoo.
Lads, I am not reading that surname out. I'm not reading that name out from James.
Mike Hunt.
Joe? Missed it.
No, I think these are took it off. Right. That's what happened.
Mr. Hunt.
Yeah. One Hunt lad. But I can see where the jokes are coming, all right.
That's
But
it.
it's stupid not to put up anyway. But that's what do you think on the whole situation of Mac Hansen getting in the lines, Darcy Graham not going in?
Well,
Matt?
look, I mean, if you look at the two players on form, there's only one pick that you'd pick, and that's Darcy Graham. Like, Mac Hansen hasn't really, he's been injured for quite a fair bit, and hasn't really featured much for Connacht recently. And the fact that he was picked, I think Andy Farrell just likes him, and I think he's just gotten in on merit from his previous history. But if you're going on form, he definitely shouldn't have been picked. And the likes of Darcy Graham or Jesus, I'd even fucking throw in Stockdale instead of fucking
Mac Hansen.
Mac Hansen at the moment, given the form Stockdale is on, do you know what I mean? But again, Andy Farrell's got his reasons. Obviously, he wants Hansen there, and the fact that he's going back to Australia to play probably some of his fucking teammates in the Brumbies and all that sort of stuff. So there's something going on in the background that we don't know of. But for me, like, why would you pick an injured player? And then it just goes to show that then Blair Kinghorn was picked as well, and has a fucking knee strapping or that protective knee thing as well. Like, so why pick either of them? There's plenty of players there that could have taken that spot that are fit and playing at the moment, Yeah,
and you might need a whole pile of adjustments to fit into the Farrell system as well, maybe.
But that's the thing, you look like if they're injured now, they haven't played in probably weeks, possibly even months, and then because I think when did Blair Kinghorn got injured in the Champions Cup in
I think so,
quarterfinal, was it? So he's been out for a couple of weeks already.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Baffling.
Yeah, look, the only thing is, like always with the Lions, by the time it actually comes around, there's players pull up and training or in semi-finals or the URC or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
So, they may get a chance yet. But, like, in all fairness, as you say, on form, Darcy Graham definitely goes. And I don't know, Mac hasn't shown it on form, but look, as you say, Farrell there's some reason behind it.
Yeah.
Other than that tattoo.
Yeah.
Maybe he's promised another tattoo for the Lions. He'll get a Lions tattoo or something.
And maybe Farrell can pick the tattoo as well. Maybe that's part of it. Yeah. So that could be very cool. Yeah.
It can't be any worse than fucking Toje's fucking earring. Mother of God, lads.
Yeah.
That was embarrassing.
That was embarrassing, to be fair.
Can you imagine if Bourne was picked as captain and he strolls out with a fucking pearl earring, like fucking Pirates of the Caribbean? That's fucking a joke. Did he do it for a bet, I remember?
He'd never hear the end of it.
Yeah.
Not at all.
There must have been a bet or forfeit or fucking something.
Jeez, earring. Lovely.
Yeah. For a good old Peter Burke, yeah. Lads, I suppose we will call it tonight. Matt, Lynn, or
Cheers,
Scar.
lads. That was painless.
Yeah.
Talk to you later.
Yeah.
Come on, Lynn.
And lads, see you next time.
Danny, good night.
Thanks a lot.
See you, Danny. See you, Matt.
Cheers, lads.
Bye.
Talk to you later.